Hi everybody, this is Michael from backtothefuturetrading.com. Today I'm reintroducing you to the TachEon Prime software. We're the only company in the world that actually has signals on the right side of the chart. We're going to talk more about those here in a second. I'm reviewing the popular crude futures market here on a 3-minute chart. Very common chart for crude futures traders to be watching. And I want to share you a little bit about how the markets are manipulated and how you can get ahead of institutional manipulation by using their own timing patterns against them. On the bottom of my chart, you're going to see a histogram. Now, it looks a lot like the standard lagging indicators that you're used to using in the past. The problem is that those indicators are measuring things that just happened. It's sort of like telling somebody who's been robbed that they've just been robbed. Yeah, I feel really bad about it, and now I feel even worse for you reminding me. But what I want to remind you is that our indicators print on the right side of the chart. Think of them like buses or planes that haven't left the docking bay yet, or they haven't left their parking space yet. There are times where when we arrive at those times in the future, something is anticipated or expected. So right now, traders are reacting to the institutional movements, the banks who are suckering people into positions that almost always go in the exact opposite direction that they were expecting it to. So today for CL, for example, I want you to notice that if I shrink up my chart, I can move forward into the future, and you'll see that there's a series of times waiting for me, like again, a bus or an airplane preparing to take off. It already has a schedule. So 7:15, 9:12, and 10:48 tomorrow morning, as well as 12:45 Eastern Time in the afternoon, are times where we're expecting launches. That is to say, the historical record, the banks, the data that they've left behind, has been sorted and sifted through by a computer. And the computer has discovered that over the last several weeks, these times, generally speaking, produce moves where price rises until the equal but opposite signals on the other side of the line. That is to say, we're expecting selling pressure at 8:12, 10:21, and 11:54 tomorrow. These are also the European market times, 5:39 Eastern Time, or about, I think it's 10:39 London time tomorrow. So all of these times that you see here were the times that we were waiting for today in crude. So when you're looking at these indicators on the bottom of the screen, I want you to remember that these were times that were sitting here. The chart above us was unpopulated. There were no bars, there were no dots, there were no moving average lines. We were just waiting to see if the planes would take off and land when we were expecting them to. So one of the questions that I receive a lot is, well, Michael, how can I consistently make more money in the market? In addition to that, how can I do that taking fewer trades? And I want to answer that question based on what we've learned from our customers that are trading profitably. That is to say the following. If there's a time where we're expecting a move, one of the only filters you really need to apply, in my opinion, is trend. And on this chart, I have a 120 period moving average. So I'm going to teach you my best setup right now. Listen close. When the 120 period moving average is moving down, it's indicating a downward trend condition or a selling market. I have the lines printing gray when that happens. When the market is moving up and the moving average is sloping upwards, I have an aqua color populating those same bars. So when the market is moving down, I want to be a seller, and I want to look particularly at the times where the market was supposed to go lower, when I was supposed to see selling pressure. And this morning you can see pre-market, before crude opened, we had a series of signals, 6:09, 7:09, and then right before crude opens at 8:45. And so these now come with windows of time. For example, if you were going to sell crude, we would look between 6:09 and 6:57. We're the only software in the world that tells you when to look for the signal, as well as how long that signal should act. It's sort of like knowing that when the plane leaves the airport, you're going to arrive at your destination 2 hours, 3 hours, 3.5 hours after you take off. No other software can tell you that. And in some instances, like the 709 signal, you don't necessarily finish better than you started. In this case, by 7:48, you were actually 3 ticks in the hole. 8:45 comes along, and this is when crude first starts to open up. But I want you to see what happens. Between now and when the market opens, crude drops a full $180 straight down. Okay, and then we get to this lull right before 9:51, and now we're down again, $19. So for almost 20 or 30 minutes, we're hanging out around this location. So at 8:45, the market drops down, but you'll notice by 9:51, everything kind of flips around, right? We have another one of those high probability entries down here at 9:51, and we're above the moving average. So we go from thinking about selling to thinking about purchasing. And we have another one of those opportunities at 11:12 that we were waiting for. And in this case, at 9:51, the market goes immediately in our direction, about $250 per contract. 1018 is a counter trend signal, and so we're not necessarily interested in that right now. It's moving against the direction of the trend. At 11:12, we're in the direction of the trend. We have another window from 11:12 to 11:27, and then we move another $100 per contract up in that direction. So generally speaking, you see that if we align ourselves at the times banks have historically pressed down, leaving these little clues, these little data trails behind for us to analyze, we can leverage that power when they move the ship again. When they move the big boat, our little boat is right behind their big boat in their wake and sucking us into the profits with our 1 and 2 and 5 and 10 contract trades alongside their 100, 200, 500,000 contract trades. What's fascinating to me is even after hours here, 6 p.m. Eastern, 6:21, you still see that the computer has locked in the times where the banks are categorically pushing higher and pushing lower. This next time here, for example, at 9:33, which is coming in 11 minutes, I'm really interested to see if it doesn't just start to launch and creep higher. That's what's expected. We're below the moving average, so I'd be waiting for a candle close above the EMA and for that little blue dot to start to appear. But you'll see now coming into tomorrow morning, those times are waiting for us again, like a bus schedule. So if the trend is up in crude tomorrow, I'll be really interested in 7:15, 9:12, 10:48, and 12:45. If the trend is down, I'll be paying particular attention to 8:12, 10:21, 11:54, 1:54 into the close. These are times where I should be able to wager a contract and see the market move very quickly and dramatically in my favor. And if not, I can use a very small stop to see if that trade was going to work. It works as well on larger time frames as it does on smaller time frames. And here's an example today, for example, on crude, where we were looking for an up move from 10 o'clock into 10:45, selling pressure from 10:45 into lunchtime, and then in the afternoon we were expecting a sell-off for 2:45 down into 11:30 p.m. Eastern time. And again, you'll see to the right we have the times waiting for us on the 15-minute chart for tomorrow, sitting there like bus schedules that are ready to depart and arrive at the terminal. Now, remember, a lot of traders don't believe this is possible. And so we do something really unique. And down below in the video description, you're actually going to see a link. We're the only vendor in the ecosystem, whether it's NinjaTrader or any other developer for that matter, that gives the customers the signals in advance. So we have webinars every week, for example, where we'll give out on Tuesday night the times for the following markets on Wednesday and Thursday. That includes popular markets like the E-mini S&P, crude futures, the mini Dow, the Euro US dollar. And we challenge our prospects, our customers, to come see, using the times we give them in advance, whether or not the markets actually followed those times forward into the future. No other vendor excuse me, no other vendor or developer can provide that service. We're the only company that's providing a forward-facing, futures-looking indicator that way. And so if you're skeptical about whether or not the software will work, we want you to be skeptical, because 98% of the time the people that you're dealing with are skunks, wolves, and thieves. But again, if we're putting the information out in advance and we're telling you what directions and times to look for those moves, how can it not work if 2 days later it did? There's no way to manipulate it, and so we're 100% transparent. If you want to receive those forecasts every week and attend one of our webinars, simply go to our website, backtothefuturetrading.com. And when you get there, in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a link that says View Demo. Go ahead and click on that. When you get to that page, we're going to ask you what the other guys ask you for, your first name and your email address, what markets you trade, and then we're going to send you into our video demo area where you're going to learn about how the software works, what we're looking for specifically, and how banks are rigging the markets to trap you in positions that immediately go in the opposite direction. Once you click Show Me a Demo, you're going to get emails with us with links to the links to the forecasts every week, where you'll be able to follow along and see for yourself that banks are in fact rigging the markets along those directions. Thanks for your time. Again, backtothefuturetrading.com. If you found this video helpful, educational, useful, or entertaining, do us a favor, hit that like button or subscribe down at the bottom. It helps us get the word out to other traders so that they don't have to lose as much money as everyone else has lost in their journey to become profitable and successful. On behalf of everyone here at backtothefuturetrading.com, thanks for your time, and keep your eyes open for the next video to come out shortly.